Okay, so it took me a while to grind out all of the characters, but I mean, I finally maxed all of them. I got all of their masteries maxed out. All of them are max level, their ability max level. So now I feel like I'm ready to make an actual ranking list. So that's what we're doing today. We're gonna rank all 15 survivors in Call of Mini Zombies 2. And starting at the bottom list, at number 15, we got Hunter. Yes. First off, as you guys can see, Hunter has pretty good health at a max health of 4,250, which is pretty good. I think that's like the third highest health in the game right now, but even so, he has okay speed. The main problem with Hunter is his ability. Prehistoric Stampede. It does sound good when you first look at it, but when you actually use it, his main problem is when kind of gets like stunned and he can't move when he uses his ability. So he's gonna like stand still for a bit to like do his ability, and I feel like that really makes Hunter a bad character because of that. He does have like some decent perks. Burning Spirit is probably his best one, but Enraged Beast would probably be his best if his ability actually worked, since it says it offers knockback. When you do actually use this ability on a boss, which you should be using if you have like a ability that knocks back, using an ability that knocks back bosses will really help either your team, or if you're like solo trying to grind bosses or anything, you're trying to get the boss away from you. When you do actually use his ability, it kind of knocks back like a tiny bit, but it's really not that much. And when you do use his ability, you know, he gets stunned, he can't like move because he's like charging up his attack or whatever. It really just like makes him really slow when bosses catch up to him, zombies get him, and he just takes a lot of damage even with his high health. I do not recommend using Hunter at all. There's way better characters, and I doubt anybody really mains Hunter anyways, because I've never seen anybody use Hunter at all. That's why he's like so bad, like, because nobody uses it. But anyways, up next at number 14, we got X800. Now, X800 is actually not that bad when I first tried him out. Looking at his stats, they are pretty decent. He has decent health, he has good speed, and the thing is his ability. It's just like a damaging ability really, just to get rid of hordes of zombies, but his main good thing is probably his perk, Super Rockets, when it causes knockback toward enemies. When you use it on a boss, it actually does knock back quite a bit, and does a way better job than Hunter when he uses his ability to knock back. His fly around mechanic is a little bit weird because there's not really any uses for really like him flying around. It might sound like a good bonus, but like it really just in this game just doesn't really help much, except for like avoid attacks. But even then, like his jetpack boost like runs out pretty quickly and you can't stay up in the sky for so long, so really you're just avoiding for like 3 seconds and then you gotta wait for it to recharge, which takes even longer than 3 seconds. But anyways, not a bad character when you have super rockets equipped. That knockback really helps a lot. It's just that there are other better characters on this list, and that's why he's so low on this list. Anyways, at the number 13 spot, we got Hubert. Now, looking at Hubert's stats, this is way better than the X800 stats with a little bit higher health, a little bit higher speed. The speed is really good. The only downside is his ability. Same problem with like these characters with their abilities, like kind of just making them a little bit bad, or that they could be better. Hubert is actually not bad at the start. When you max out Hubert, he's actually pretty decent in the beginning stage of the game. But like mid stage or end game stage, he becomes really bad just because his ability has like very low health compared to like what the bosses do later on. They do like so much damage, they really just one shot this guy's trap. So it basically makes this trap like useless, and he has a pretty decent cooldown for his ability. It's just that his ability is pretty much useless just because it gets one shot. It can distract bosses and zombies, but only for like a very short amount of time. It'll just like stun them for a bit and have them distracted, but there's way better distractors, there's way better stunners in this game. I feel like they should really change Hubert's ability to take hits instead of like having like health. For an example, like could take 20 hits before the trap gets destroyed, no matter like the damage. I feel like that would be a pretty good rework instead of this having health, because later on it really just like sucks just because of the bosses. They do so much damage, or the zombies as well, they do like a ton of damage. Hubert's pretty decent in survival as well for like the first 20 rounds until his trap becomes useless to the damage. Not a bad character at all, especially in the beginning stage. It's just that when you get to that mid stage or to the end game, you should definitely have a different character other than Hubert for those stages of the game. Alright, up next we got at the number 12 spot, we got Eskimo. Eskimo is probably like the first actual decent survivor in this list. He has decent stats, decent health, decent speed, and he has a pretty good ability that really is just for stunning. It lasts a pretty good amount of time. The only problem is his cooldown. It takes way too long. And compared to like other survivors on this list, Eskimo is just a decent character overall. And then his perks, it really depends on like what you like more. If you want to like support your team, you should probably choose Shiver Core. Or if you're doing solo, then you should probably do Frozen Flow. But anyways, not much else to say. Eskimo is just a decent character. And there are other better characters on this list than Eskimo. And in number 11, we got Mike. Now originally Mike was supposed to be like a little bit lower on the list, but when I actually used him to like make sure if he was like really on that level he was supposed to be, I found out that like his speed really does help out a lot. And if you know how to use Mike, then he can be really good. His big problem right now is his health. He has like the lowest health in the game. He has like the highest speed in the game. So if you really use that speed correctly and like you just avoid damage as much as you can, the health doesn't really matter. You know, you won't take damage if you just run. But even if you do get hit, your health just goes like all the way to half and you get like two-shotted, especially like end game to mid game. So I really don't recommend this for like mid game, end game. If you're just like a beginning player, you're just a casual player, you know, do not get Mike for mid game or end game. Another bad thing about Mike is his ability. Now his ability itself is kind of bad. It does like extremely low damage compared to other abilities in this game. And the cooldown actually isn't so bad. Really, it's just the damage, but his perks really do make up for his bad abilities damage. Like juggling balls, you get more damage but slower fire rate. His best one is probably Powered Wall, which offers knockback, and this can help out a ton when you're like trying to get away from other bosses or just zombies. This could really help with your teammates. You can distract the boss and the teammates can just like do damage while you distract the boss with the knockback. You just stun it a little bit, like slow it down. The knockback ability really does help a lot. And it's a lot better than the freaking Hunter and X800's knockback abilities. Coming up at number 10, we got Marine. Now Marine is another decent character. He has the highest health in game with 6,000 at max. The only downside is his speed. And that's really like his only problem. His ability is decent, his perks are decent, but he can take a ton of hits. He has a pretty good like perk with the ×2 magazine. The only problem is that it's affecting his speed a lot more. But it's still a pretty cool perk. You can equip this for survival or just to like do damage when you're in a team. And his ability is not bad at all. He does have a little bit of a higher cooldown and his damage is but its main good thing is that its turret has knockback. And it's actually a really good knockback. When you use this ability, it knocks back the bosses pretty well. And for its long duration, it's pretty good. For slowing down those bosses so they can't reach to you because you have slow speed. Even if you do get hit, you have 6,000 health. You can like take a couple of hits before you actually die. You can even solo EXE with Marine. I know someone who actually has done it. They said they done it the first try, which is pretty insane because I thought it would be impossible with Marine to solo EXE with his really slow speed. But really, it's his like ability. His ability really did help a lot when he was like soloing EXE because of this knockback, and of course of that high health, really helped out a lot. Now in the number 9 spot, we got our first healer. We have Lily. Now Lily has good speed. It's just that her problem is with her health as well. She has like the second lowest health in game. Her health doesn't really matter much when she's a healer. She can heal herself, but her problem with her healing ability is that a lot of times when you do use it, most of the time your teammates are not going to be like as close to you and they'll probably like miss it by the time it ends and they won't notice it that you already used the ability. A huge problem with her ability is her cooldown. The cooldown takes way too long at 46 seconds, almost a minute before you can have to use it again. Her healing is good as well. It's just that her cooldown really sucks and I feel like the devs should really buff her with that cooldown. Make it at least like 30 seconds. I feel like that would be a good start to buffer at. And Lily's supposed to be like the best healer, as it like says in her info box. Great choice for those who prioritize support, meaning that she is supposed to be the best healer, but she actually is the worst. I mean, some people could disagree, but in my opinion, her ability just kind of is unreliable a lot of times, especially in bosses when you're supposed to be like moving a lot. You're like always supposed to be moving, can't stop for a bit. With her ability, kind of just have to stop in their radius so you can like get that health. The only reason why she's like way up in this list is because she is a healer and she can revive teammates, so that at least makes her pretty useful. She's an okay survivor herself. Up next in the number 8 spot, we got my goat, Dr. Galen. Yes. Now, kind of makes me sad to put it this low in the list, but I have to put my biases on the side and be serious for a bit. But in my opinion, Dr. Galen is a better healer than Lily, mainly because of her ability. It's a lot more reliable, and especially if you have a good Dr. Galen, you can keep everyone's health up a lot more reliably, especially if they know what they're doing. Like if they target the heals at like someone who actually deserves it. Like for an example, like a Marco, when you're doing EXE, he's distracting the boss, he needs his health up if he takes damage to like keep distracting the boss. If Marco dies, then the whole team dies basically. So you have to use Galen's ability correctly, and it does pretty good healing as well. The good thing is that her cooldown is a little bit shorter than Lily's, although still a little bit long. Still pretty decent for what it is. Her stats are pretty decent. 3,000 health, 20 speed. That's pretty good speed. I think Dr. Galen is perfect for what she is. She's like pretty well balanced. Maybe her ability cooldown might be a little bit too high. Other than that, she's a pretty good survivor, especially in teams with pretty decent perks, like depending on your situation. Other than that, she's a really good survivor, way better than Lily because she can like move while she heals, because you and your teammates are always going to be moving when you're fighting a boss. You have to stay away from the boss, stay away from zombies to avoid getting damaged. So Dr. Galen is definitely way more reliable than Lily right now. So I think number 8 is a good spot for Dr. Galen. Now at number 7 spot, we got our second speedster. We got Jed. His stats are actually really good for his speed and his health. They are extremely good, especially if you're using Jet as like a beginning stage or mid stage. His stats are really good. He has a decent perk called the Coward that gains +3 speed boost when you use his ability. Problem is that for me, like I don't like that when you do use his ability, like you stop shooting. You stop shooting when you use his ability, and his ability like really doesn't do that much damage. Really low with 750. His cooldown is really good for the damage that it does. It's really not that good, and you're better off using your primary weapon. Really, the best way to use Jed's ability is probably to use it paired with the Coward perk when trying to get away from bosses or from zombies. But other than that, if you're able to shoot while you're using this ability, then Jed would be a lot higher on this list. But for now, I think he's pretty good at the number 7 spot. Now in the number 6 spot, we got Zero. Yes, the final speedster of the game. His stats are really good, especially with his speed. He has the second highest speed in the game, and with decent health paired with it. We're actually getting into like the good characters. Now, Zero's ability, the only problem is his damage. But when you use Zero's ability like correctly, like he gains like short-term invincibility. You can dodge an attack if you use Zero's ability correctly. And in another video I showed you guys in my first top 3 characters you should invest in, I talked about this a little bit more. I made a whole video about it, but please check it out if you haven't. Zero's ability is pretty good, and he has pretty good perks as well, except for the Deadly Precision perk. Really his best perk is the Escapist, when you gain +3 speed boost for 3 seconds after using your ability, which is pretty good. +3 speed boost for 3 seconds is actually pretty insane, especially when he has 23 speed already at max level. Zero can be used like at any stage of the game if you main him. He's especially extremely good in the beginning stage of the game with his high speed. If you have like PGM, that gun like lowers your speed by like 5. So if you use Zero, your base speed will just be 18, and that's still pretty good. Anyways, at number 5 we have Sailor. Now Sailor is a little bit of a weird one. He's not really like a speedster. Sailor is kind of just like a survivor that has like a little bit of everything, and that makes him like especially good for what he has. Now his ability is pretty good. It's just that his knockback doesn't really do that much on certain bosses. Sometimes his knockback can be good, sometimes not. He has a pretty good cooldown time with only 14 seconds. He probably shouldn't use Anchor Slam as like to deal damage, but really just to escape from horse zombies. He has okay speed, but he does have high health. Now his absolutely best thing is his momentum perk. You ignore all mobility downsides on weapons, but you lose 20% ammo capacity. Ignoring mobility downsides is actually like the best thing ever, especially if you have PGM. This guy is the absolute best for survival or when you're doing those day missions. This is where like Sailor really does well, but he's also pretty good in boss rate. It's just that many people don't really use him that much. He's more of like a solo character a little bit. He can be used as like a distractor, but of course there's like other better distractors on this list. Alright, coming up to number 4 we have Joe Blow. Now I did not think Joe Blow would be like this good, like for him to be at number 4 spot. I always thought Joe Blow was like a C tier character, but Joe Blow is like really an A tier character, and that's mainly because of his ability. His ability is so good because you become invulnerable for 7 seconds at max level, and you gain +3 speed and his cooldown is pretty good as well with only 14 seconds. Really, you should use Whirlwind to like escape bosses or to get away from hordes of zombies. But when you have the Chainsaw Massacre equipped as well, you can like heal when you kill zombies, and his range gets increased for the ability. Or you can use Spinning Top to gain another extra 3 speed boost. He has pretty good health at 4,000 at max. His speed is okay, but his ability is definitely his best thing he has. Your first character that you actually obtain is actually top 4 on this list, but Joblo is an actual good character. You can use him at any stage of the game, like beginning, mid stage, or end game with like EXE. You can use Joblo as like a distractor. He does pretty well, especially if you like use him correctly and like know when to use this ability. But yeah, nothing much else to say. In the number 3 spot, we have Hardy. Now, this is another character I actually didn't expect to be like this good, especially in the top 3 list. Hardy also has like the slowest speed in game, but his ability, he has another really extremely good ability that makes up for like his downsides. His ability Riot Dash for like a huge, like long distance. In my opinion, I think it's like a little bit too long, but and his cooldown time is so good with only 9 seconds. By the time you're done using his ability, you can like only wait like 4 seconds to use it again. Another cool thing is that you become invulnerable as well when you use his ability, so you can like basically go through like a horde of zombies and you won't have to worry about taking damage because you're you're invulnerable. By the time your ability is done, like reaching his distance, you'll be like far away from zombies or for like from a boss if you're on survival or just in like the boss raids. And he has like extremely good health with 5,000 at max. His best perk is definitely Weapon Specialist. Bro, increase your mag capacity by 15% in exchange for a 50% decrease in dash distance. That is so good. That's like honestly one of the best perks I've ever seen in this game. Especially for like what it does. Like his minus 15 decrease in dash distance is not bad at all. I feel like that's way too low for what his ability does, but Hardy is extremely good, especially for boss raids. When you're like grinding, I really recommend using Hardy. Pair with like any gun. Get that plus 15% ammo capacity. Really helps out a lot. You do like a ton of more DPS, a ton more damage. Extremely good for any stage of the game. Beginning, mid game, or late game. He's okay in survival and in day missions because of his high health, so you won't have to worry about it a lot. And especially with his ability that makes him vulnerable, like I said. Extremely underrated character. Hardy is goated. Now, in the number 2 spot, we got the GOAT himself, Marco. Now, you all know his ability, his perk that does plus 20% when you hit headshots, but you know his ammo gets increased by 20%, which doesn't really matter. Eagle Focus really helps out a ton in endgame. Like Marco is probably the best endgame person. He's decent in the beginning, but like mid game when you have PGM or like Protector, like mid game you'll most likely have like an explosive weapon, so you can't really do headshots. Mid game he won't be really good at all, especially with the Eagle Focus perk equipped. Like you're better off using his other perk if you do main Marco in mid game. Decent stats. He has a really good landmine ability with extremely low cooldown time. Can distract like any boss except for doesn't work on Infector and it doesn't work on Deadlight, which is honestly fine because he has pretty good speed anyways. So for Infector, it will get damaged like as long as you just keep running in like circles. Marco is still like extremely good in this meta. I really recommend Marco for endgame once you get that sentence, especially for like EXE. There should always be like a Marco in your team when you're doing EXE because he helps out a ton. He's like the best distractor in the game so far. But enough said. To the number 1 spot. This is insane, but freaking Dr. Vex. Number 1 spot for Dr. Vex. This guy is so meta. Everybody is using him. There's a reason why like 70% of the players are using Dr. Vex right now. You always see like a Dr. Vex in your lobby. You know, he's a healer. He got like a recent buff where like his ability actually heals now, and like it's actually insane. He does like so much healing. I'm not sure how it is compared to Lily's healing, but it definitely does a ton. Has a decent duration. Damage is okay. Not really like the best to use his ability for damage, but his ability is so good. It like sucks in like all hordes of zombies or like even the boss if you use the ability correctly. I really recommend using his ability like if you aim up and you're near a boss, the boss will like always get sucked. Even for like EXE, a lot of people don't know that, but you should really like aim up his ability so that like anything can get like sucked in. Currently, Dr. Vex is the best healer in the game. His stats are okay, you know, he has good speed, but his health is definitely decent. And his best perk currently is definitely his supercharged perk. I won't read it all, but you guys can see it from the video. Like, you have to make sure Dr. Vex has enough health, or else you'll like actually die if you use Dr. Vex's ability when you're like extremely low on health. He's extremely good only because he's good at like everything, especially if you use his ability correctly. Like, it's really his ability that's like extremely busted. Yeah, it kind of does have high cooldown, but he's extremely good in survival, extremely good in boss raids. He's okay in the day missions. You know, his ability is just so good because it can like get rid of those hordes of zombies, or like kind of stun the boss a little bit so you can like get away, and by the time you're like far and the boss actually catches up to you, you can use the ability again if you're solo. But he's definitely the best character so far. A team of Dr. Vexes can like solo any boss at all. You know, don't forget that you can actually heal your teammates as well, because he's a healer, he's a doctor. He can like revive players. A lot of like Dr. Vex mains forget that. I feel like every time I'm playing with the Dr. Vex, like sometimes they forget that they can like revive players. So yeah, just make sure to like be that support character when you need to be. Dr. Vex is simply at number one because he's so versatile with his ability. It's always pretty good to have a Dr. Vex on your team, just to make sure like, you know, it's an actual good Dr. Vex player and not like a brainless Dr. Vex main. Anyways, that's gonna be all for this video. This list might not make a lot of people happy, like depending if you main like Eskimo and you like see Eskimo at like number 12, but I don't know, this is just my opinion. And I did unlock like every character, I did play every character, so this is like my opinion. Like with me like playing every character, you know, I know how they all work and their abilities, who has like a better ability. So like if I'm like missing anything at all like with the character that I rated like too low, and like, you know, let me know in the comments. You know, let me know if you main like Marine, if you think Marine should be higher on the list, let me know. But this list is really just like an overall like in the game, because this game like can be like very like specific with like characters. For an example, for like boss raid, if you need like to grind gears, then Marco is definitely like the best if you have that sentence. If not, then definitely choose Hardy for like grinding bosses, because he gives like that extra ammo capacity. But Marco or Hardy might not be like the best for day missions, or Marco isn't the best for survival, definitely not. But like I said, there's like better characters for like any other mode, but this is just like an overall list. I can make like another list like for a specific game mode. Like I might make another list just for survival and like rank the characters from there and see how they all do. But you know, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you found my video entertaining. Please like and sub. See you guys in the next time. Peace.